Rocky Mountain National Park has a legendary reputation for scenery and wildlife, but you have to navigate timed entry reservations, crowded parking lots, and thousands of other visitors. I wanted to know if one of the park's most popular hikes, Sky Pond, was really worth all that effort. After winning a timed entry reservation, I parked at the park and ride and set off towards Sky Pond. The hike begins in the famous Bear Lake corridor, passing by Nymph Lake, Dream Lake, and Lake Haiyaha. Each stop was beautiful in its own way, with crystal clear water, towering pines, and mountain views peeking through the trees. The trail continues deeper into the forest, crossing streams and climbing steadily higher into the mountains. It was peaceful, the lakes were beautiful, and there were plenty of scenic moments along the way. But I still found myself waiting for that jaw-dropping view Rocky Mountain National Park is famous for. With every mile, the crowds gradually thinned out, the elevation kept increasing, and the mountains started to feel bigger and more rugged. It felt like I was getting closer to something special and spectacular. And about halfway through the hike, I'd say, I reached an area known as the Loch. And from that point on, I started to get it. The trail opened up to dramatic granite cliffs and some of the most spectacular views I'd seen all day. It finally felt like the Rocky Mountain National Park I'd heard so much about. This was the moment where the scenery finally matched the park's legendary reputation. If the hike had ended here, I already would have been happy. After leaving the loch, I encountered some elk. They were incredible to see, but I worried about getting too close. I have to confess, I don't know much about them, so I kept my distance just in case. I said goodbye to the elk and eventually arrived at Timberline Falls, where the trail climbs right beside this roaring waterfall before making one final push towards Sky Pond. I scrambled up the last section of trail and finally reached my destination. Now, I understood what all the hype was about. The views were impressive, the water, towering granite walls, and the feeling of being surrounded by mountains made this exactly the kind of experience I had hoped for when visiting Rocky Mountain National Park. Eventually, it was time to make my way back, where I encountered more elk, and by the end of the day, I had covered over 21 miles in about 7.5 hours. So my verdict: head straight for the Loch, Timberline Falls, and Sky Pond, and pass on the full 21-mile loop around the lakes. I think my next hike will have to be in the tundra region of the park above the tree line.